Hello everyone, welcome back to Oliveboard. As you all know, this is our second class of finance current affairs. The first class has been already done and the PPTs, if you want to, we are going to upload on our both of the channels, okay, and we'll discuss it later. Now if you really want and if you really liked our first finance current affairs class, we are also going to make the playlist. Let's begin with our topic. We are back again with three important topics today, okay, as we are taking weekly two topics, two classes for finance current affairs. We'll begin with our first topic, and that is nothing but RBI latest updates on the floating rate saving bonds. So what is this all news about? So you all would be knowing RBI scheme of retail direct investment. Okay, so here RBI, if we all talk about before discussing about bonds, okay, we'll first try to understand what is this scheme about. Okay, so RBI's one scheme is there which is called as retail direct scheme, okay, which is for investment. What is this scheme about? It is nothing but for all the investors, for all the people like you and me, we can directly invest, okay, in the RBI issued government securities or maybe RBI issued securities. So we can invest in any government security or maybe RBI issued securities. This was the scheme about retail direct scheme. Now what RBI has given update on? RBI has given an update mainly that in this scheme where investors were able to invest in different RBI issued securities as well as government secs, at the same time now that particular basket of product has been expanded, and now RBI has said that in that retail direct scheme floating rate savings bond also have been added. So now the customers or maybe the investors, they not only will invest in the government securities and RBI issued securities but also in the floating rate savings bond. When we are talking about floating rate savings bond, the most important topics come to in our head, that is all about bonds. But first let us understand that why RBI has taken this decision. So RBI has expanded the basket of products which it offers on its retail direct portal in its retail direct investment scheme. Now this allows individual investors to subscribe or maybe to invest indirectly in the floating rate savings bond, okay. Now this was the news. Now why RBI has taken this decision in its retail direct scheme? Why RBI did it? Simple. The importance of this particular scheme, if we talk about, it is nothing but to increase the ease of doing the transaction. So for all the investors, to give them more opportunity, to give them options as well as to improve the ease of doing transaction, RBI along with government securities and RBI issued securities, it has also added this floating rate savings bond. Now many of the students will not be knowing what bonds is. So floating rate saving bond तो दूर की बात है, हमें bonds भी पता नहीं होता है कि होता क्या है. So let's first discuss what are bonds. Okay, so let's first discuss what are bonds. You all would have listened in your life कि bond पे लिख के दे दे फिर मैं करूंगा. You all have discussed that everybody says that write something on the bond and then only I will do it. What is this bond we all are talking about? First, before going into financial term of bond, first just understand what does bond means. Simple, it is an agreement. Okay, agreement where you write down something, the other party also write down something, you accept that proposal and the second party or the other party, he also accept that proposal, you both sign and then you follow the terms of whatever you have signed. Simple as that. Now simply as if, for example, here Babu Bhaiya gives a sample of agreement or maybe bond and even Raju also signs this bond of living in his home. So Babu Bhaiya says that you can stay in my home but you have to cook the food as well as wash the utensil. Then only I'll be keeping you in my home. Raju says that okay, I will not pay the rent then as I'm cooking the food as well as I am washing the utensils. Babu Bhaiya says okay, fine. And then they write that thing on the agreement and they both sign it. This is what bond is. Now how we can relate it to finance? We will understand it in very easy terms. Always remember that suppose I am a company, okay. Suppose even I am a person, and if I want to raise money, suppose I am a company, I need money. There are two ways through which I can raise the money. First is through debt or through equity. Equity is nothing but simple. Okay, equity is nothing but your shares. So suppose if I am a company and if I want to raise whatever money, okay, so through equity, if I am raising it, simple, I will be allocating shares in the market. People will buy those shares by just determining that is this company good or not, and those shares will give them ownership or maybe rights, and therefore they will give me the money through their shares. This is all about equity. Okay, then what is debt? So loan also comes in debt. So for example, rather than issuing the shares, I can go to the bank. In the bank I can tell that give me 10 lakh rupees of loan or maybe 10 crores of loan, but bank tells me that interest rate is this, and I feel that interest rate is very high, as well as the terms and condition I am not liking it. Okay, so therefore there is one more way through which I can raise the money. And how company can raise it? Through bonds. Through bonds, which come in the debt only. So bonds are nothing but, yes, the company is raising the money through a loan only, but here company is not taking that particular loan from a bank, but rather from people, multiple people. It may be a group of people or whatever, individual people also. Now how company will do that? Simple. How Babu Bhaiya gave a sample of agreement to Raju to sign, similarly company will give multiple bonds or agreements in the market, and then people will buy that agreements or maybe those bonds, and through all those people company will get the money. For more understanding, let's try to understand with one more example for your simplicity. So here is the example. Always remember, you all know the people who are doing job or maybe the people who will be doing job in future. Okay, now this particular person is doing job in a company. Okay, now when he is doing the job, company उसको directly किसी भी काम के लिए नहीं रखेगी, right? कंपनी जब उसको काम पे रख रही है तो कंपनी उसको बताएगी कि भाई आपकी सैलरी कितनी है, 10,000, आपको कितने घंटे काम करना है, 6 hours 12 hours whatever. कंपनी अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट विल राइट सर्टन क्लॉजेस कि आप ये कर सकते हो, ये नहीं कर सकते हो. This agreement would be signed by this person as well as this company, and then they both will say that okay, now I am ready to work in this company. और अगर ये एग्रीमेंट साइन नहीं किया तो ये आदमी क्या करेगा, कभी भी कल कंपनी छोड़ के जा सकता है. एट द सेम टाइम द कंपनी ऑल्सो मे रिमूव हिम व्हेनेवर दे वांट टू. सो फॉर सच थिंग टू नॉट हैपन, पीपल ऑलवेज साइन the agreement, and whatever terms and conditions are written, then both the parties they agreed. This is generally an example of an agreement for your job. Similarly in finance, just imagine this, that there is now a company, and this company is trying to raise money from a person. Now this money, how this company is raising? Simple. This is also issuing an agreement, where in that agreement how much rupees that person, from that person company is going to get, and everything, interest, percentage, everything has been written on that particular bond or agreement. So it is nothing but this company is giving bond or a paper or agreement. In the return, this person is giving some amount of money as a loan to that company. So this person is giving money to this company, company is giving this bond, and this bond has some value. Okay, this is not just a paper, it has some value. For example, this person gives 100 rupees to this company. Company says that okay, take this bond, and on this bond it will be written 100 rupees. Now why will a person in free give 100 rupees to the company? Therefore company also writes that for 5 years, each year I will give 10% as a interest to this person. So therefore 5 years, and after 5 years I will also, this company will also return this 100 rupees to this person. This particular agreement is nothing but financial bond, what we all talk about. In rest of any of the videos, even if you search on YouTube or anywhere you go, it is very, very complicated. This is the easiest way to understand. A simple company gave a paper to a girl. The girl gave company 100 rupees. On that paper it was written that this girl has given me 100 rupees. Each year I will give her 10 rupees on this 100 rupees, and at the same time, as the 10% interest is there, and at the same time after 5 years I will also return 100 rupees to this girl, as she is giving me 100 rupees right now. Okay, so this is nothing but your financial bond. I hope you get it. This is the very basic thing to understand. Now let's move forward. There are two types of bond. First is redeemable bond and second is irredeemable bond. What is redeemable? Try to understand. Whenever if you write an agreement, okay, or maybe your financial bond on which the amount of money which a company is getting from a borrower, that is nothing but your principal. That is nothing but your principal amount. Okay. So along with principal, you are getting regular interest also. So take the example of the girl which we talked about. The girl gave the company 100 rupees. Company promised that every year I am going to give you 10%. And at the same time, after 5 years, for 5 years I will give you first year 10%, second year 10%, and fifth year I will be giving your 100 rupees also. Such bonds are called as redeemable bond, where your principal is guaranteed. At the first chance only, that girl gave 100 rupees to that company, and therefore that 100 rupees after 5 years she is getting guaranteed. That is redeemable. Irredeemable bond is nothing but here you are getting interest, but there is no guaranteed return of your principal. Here principal return guarantee is not there. For example, that girl was there, she gave 100 rupees to the company, but there is no guarantee that after 5 years she will be getting in return that 100 rupees. Then one question comes, why will the girl invest? It's because generally the interest rate whatever is there, in the first case of redeemable it was just 10%. Maybe in irredeemable bond it may be 50%. So therefore for people who are very risky, if they think that okay, I'll put the money in a risky in a company where I'm getting more returns. So wherever if the interest is high, it again becomes risky because there is no guarantee that you will get the principal, but yearly return of your interest is higher, 50%, right? So that becomes, just for example we are considering the interest. Now let us understand in more depth what is redeemable and what is irredeemable bonds. Now look at here very carefully. 100 rupees loan, suppose that girl has given to the company in 2010 for 5 years at 2%. So in 2010, 100 rupees loan she gave to the company. In 2011, she got 2 rupees. In 2012, she got 2 rupees. In 2013, she got 2 rupees. 14, she got 2 rupees. And 15 also, she got 2 rupees. The 5 years got completed. And therefore, after 5 years, look at it, count at this 2 rupees. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. She has got in total 10 rupees. So therefore, in total, she has received 10 rupees plus the principal amount also. So 110 rupees. So principal also you are getting and interest also you are getting. This is the example of your redeemable bonds. Now let's move forward. Now let's talk about irredeemable bonds. Very, very simple. Here the same girl is there. 100 rupees she has given the company as a borrower. Okay. Here look at the returns now. For 5 years she is getting 20%. Now there it was just 2%. Here see the risk, 20% return per year. So in 2011 she will get 20 rupees. Here also 12 she will get 20 rupees. 13 also she will get 20 rupees. 14 she will get 20 rupees. 15 also she will get 20 rupees. But here there is no guaranteed principal. Now again I am not saying that no principal, no guaranteed, in the sense it may be there or it may not be there. So for the people who are very risky, who wants higher returns, who are expecting, they can definitely go for the irredeemable bonds. Okay. Now let us try to understand more some examples of your bonds. और थोड़े bonds के example लेते हैं थोड़ा समझने के लिए. पहला है municipal bonds. क्या होते हैं municipal bonds? Simple. Municipality issue करती है. For example एक municipality है और उसको park बनाना है. So therefore whatever community is there, whatever that municipal area is there, it tells people कि ये देखो हमने 100 bond लाए हैं. Okay, 100 bonds are there, each of 10,000 rupees. If you want to buy the bond, buy these bonds. Whatever money you guys will give us, this each person will give 10,000 rupees because the price on the bond is 10,000, right? So this whatever money, whatever the municipality will get to prepare or construct that park, that such bonds which are raised for any of the municipality like works, infrastructure or any other purposes, these are called as municipality bonds. The first municipality bond was raised in Ahmedabad in Gujarat in 1998. Okay. Now again in context of bond we are talking about, we'll move to the further types also, but before that let us also discuss one important thing, that is some important concepts related to bond. Now we looked at that girl's example, right? Whatever interest was there, that interest is called as coupon rate in bonds. सिंपल, जो इंटरेस्ट रेट 10%, 2%, 20% जो हम बात कर रहे थे, हर पर every year that girl is going to get, or any person is going to get, investor is going to get, that is called your coupon rate. Coupon rate. The value or the value of the money or the sum which is written on your bond, that is called as face value. Now understand very carefully. Simple. The girl in our previous example gave 100 rupees to the company. So 100 rupees is your face value. Okay, 100 rupees is your face value. Now again remember, this face value is different from the market price. This face value is nothing but the total, how much the bond is actually priced at. Okay, in market, depending on the value of the bond, the company and various other factors, its market price may increase or decrease, or it may be variable. Okay, now these were the important facts you should be knowing about the bonds. Now let's move again to the types of the bonds. First, we already discussed about its municipal bond. Then is BRICS bond. It is nothing but whatever BRICS countries are there. You know, their new development bank is there. These bonds are denominated in US dollars. These are your BRICS bonds. Then come masala bond. So masala bond, I'll tell you simple thing. Suppose an Indian company is there. Indian company wants to borrow the money from foreign countries. Okay, from foreign countries or foreign individuals or foreign even enterprises. Now, how will these foreign people trust on this Indian company? Simple. This Indian company will go to the one of the World Bank or maybe any other financial institutions like IFC. Okay, they'll go to the international institution and request them that, see here, look at our profile, look at our company. We need to raise money from the foreign, and therefore this World Bank will then issue a bond in the foreign countries. So simple as that. Indian company, for example, here we take Infosys. Infosys company now needs the money from the foreign country. So simple. Infosys in India. Infosys wants money, wants to raise the money through the bonds. Therefore, Infosys is taking the money from the foreign. But as you all know, there may be some countries like UK, US, they may say that we don't know who Infosys is, right? So therefore, Infosys will go to any of the international financial institutions and tell them that please you subscribe or maybe you give the bond on behalf of us. So therefore, you give the bond for the Indian company. So therefore, this international institution like World Bank or IFC, they will give the bonds for Indian company, okay, in the different foreign countries all over the world. It may be China, US, UK, Europe, anything. And then this money from foreign will come in the India. This is what masala bond is, and they are rupee denominated. That is, they are in rupees. Okay. Now, the next type, furthermore type is panda bonds. What is panda bonds? It's nothing but here the issuer is non-Chinese and the borrower is China. So the money is borrowed in China, denominated in yuan or renminbi, and the issuer is non-Chinese. That means similar to masala bond only. Masala bond is for India. Panda bonds is for China. Okay, because panda is also found in China, right? So you would have heard the term panda diplomacy. It's a Chinese term. So therefore panda bonds. Then Maharaja bonds. Now understand very carefully the difference between masala bond and Maharaja bond. Here the Maharaja bond, if you see, the issuer is non-Indian and the borrower is Indian. So the money has been borrowed from India. So money has been borrowed from India and issued to a non-Indian. That means money, whatever the bond is, that is giving money to the foreign countries or a foreign company in foreign countries, and that money is taken from India. That is your Maharaja bonds. It is again is rupee denominated. Whereas opposite, masala bond is exactly opposite, where money is brought inside India. How? By raising a bond internationally by an international institution for an Indian company. So therefore the issuer is either an Indian, non-Indian, or a non-Indian on behalf of an Indian, and the borrower is of course outside of India, any foreign country, okay, or any foreign entity, and therefore it is also rupee denominated. So simple as that. Why it is called a masala bond? Because as you all know, Indian masalas are famous in foreign, right? So same ways, this is the logic to give after the masala bond. So these were all different types of your bonds. Now let us talk about an important concept related to bond, that is your bond yield. Okay, so bond yield, if you try to understand, there are various definitions also. Before going to the definition and all, first let's try to understand the particular concept which is associated with bond. So there is a term yield or bond yield. It is nothing but coupon rate or interest upon price into 100. So coupon rate we all discussed. Coupon rate is nothing but the total percent which was written on the bond. So it is the interest which the person would be paid yearly or periodically. That is nothing but your coupon rate upon the price of the of your bond. Now this is price, this is not face value. Try to understand. That is why I told you face value is different and your market price is different into 100. So now look at it very carefully, what happens in the bond market. Okay, this is your company. If this company has issued a bond to a person, okay, and the company gives its bond to this person and the person gives the money to this company, this particular first transaction is your primary market. Now suppose this person again sells that bond to the second person. So this person suppose is A and this is B. Okay, so company sells in primary market to A and then A sells to B in your secondary market. Now try to understand one thing very clearly. This person can either sell this bond at higher price than face value, or maybe there is a second case where he can sell the bond at lower price than face value. Okay, so let's take an example. Similar the girl's example we will take. उसी लड़की का example लेते. वो लड़की है, ठीक है, उसने कंपनी ने क्या किया, 100 रुपीज का बॉन्ड एट 10% इशू किया. ओके, 10% मतलब 5 साल के लिए. सपोज ये बॉन्ड अगर आप इस बॉन्ड पे साइन करते हो, यू विल गिव अस 100, लाइक you will give us 100 rupees, we will give you this bond, and here the interest would be 10%. So each year you will get 10 rupees. Now try to understand very carefully. This bond was sold to A. Let's consider A is our girl only, okay, where this is your primary market. Now this girl has two options. Either she can resell, in the secondary market the same 100 rupee bond at 80 rupees, or maybe at 125 rupees. Now try to understand very carefully. According to the bond yield, okay, let's try to find out at primary market what is the bond yield. So understand, 10% was your coupon rate, right? 10% upon 100 rupees. This is nothing but your 10%. So therefore here you could say that your total price, market price, is your face value. Whatever was written on that bond, that is itself the market price for this first transaction. Okay, so therefore the coupon rate, if you see, it is 10% only, similar to the interest which you are paying. Okay, but now if this girl resells this in the secondary market, so for example, if the bond has been sold at 80 rupees, now 100 rupee, it's been sold to 80 rupees. Now look at it. For C, if you try to calculate, it would be nothing but 80 divided by 80 is your coupon rate, right? 80 the coupon rate. So 80 divided by your overall 100. Okay, 80 divided by price is of course your 100 rupees. So 80 divided by 100 you will get of course 12.5%. Now suppose the bond was sold at 125 rupees, price higher than your 100 rupees. Here you could see 125 divided by 100, which will give you 8%. Now look at it, when the price of the bond was reduced, your return was high, and when the price was increased, your return was low. Okay, so yield, if you see, is inversely proportional to the price. More the price of the bond, less would be the return. Similarly, less the price of the bond, higher would be the return. This is the simple thing which you should know about the bond and yield. try to understand very, very carefully. So in secondary market, if the price of the bond, you are reselling your bond at higher price, higher the price according to this formula, inversely proportional. Therefore, yield is nothing but your return which you are getting from the bond. So therefore, according to formula, you could see coupon or interest rate. Here, whatever the price is there, you can divide it with your original price, and therefore you can get that if the price is more, definitely your return or yield is less, and if your price is less, then your return is more. So this was all about the bond yield to discuss about. Now apart from that, the significance of the news we will talk about, the concepts all we have discussed. So it's nothing but currently if you see the investors, they can invest according to this retail direct investment scheme or retail direct scheme. They can invest in central government securities, treasury bills, state government securities, sovereign gold bonds through their retail direct portal. Whereas the subscription of the bond will be in form of up to cash 20,000 only in form of draft checks or any electronic mode. Other than that, if you see, these would be exclusively accessible to only select branches of State Bank of India, Nationalized Bank and private banks. This is some of the extra news related to the same. Apart from that, if you see, as you all know, we have already discussed this particular part, that this retail direct scheme, what was it? It was nothing but this scheme was launched in November 2021. Individual investors were permitted to open retail direct gilt accounts, and through that they would invest in either RBI issued securities or government securities. Now, earlier in that only these treasury bills and all these were involved, but now even, as you all know, now even FRSBs would be included. Okay, so floating rate bonds also will be now included in the same retail direct scheme. Now, already we have discussed what is bond. Let's see the definition. It is referred to as fixed income instrument since bond traditionally paid a fixed rate, that is fixed rate of interest or coupon, which is called as coupon rate, to the debt holders. In simple terms, bond is a contract or agreement, as you all know, between investor and the borrower, company and the person who is giving the money to the company, as we all discussed already only. Okay, then we'll move to further types of the bond. Then there is one bond which is called as convertible bond. So always remember what does mean by convertible bond. So if any of the bond holders, if they have an option to convert their bonds into shares, such type of bonds are called as convertible bonds. Okay, such type of bonds are called as convertible bonds. Then comes fixed coupon rate bonds. Now remember this very carefully. The girls example which we took, 100 rupees, how much percent rate of interest was there or coupon rate was there? 2%. Whenever on any of the bond a fixed interest is written, fixed 8% return you will get. Okay, that is called as fixed coupon bond. But whenever a fixed interest rate is written, but along with that a variable is also attached to that coupon rate, then such bonds are called as flexible coupon rate bonds. So for example, here in first case the fixed coupon rate bonds are there where interest is fixed only 8%, 12%, 2%, 5%. Okay, now in flexible bonds what you could see is that coupon rate is nothing but 4%, 5%, 2%, 10% plus either repo rate plus any other variable such as LIBOR or etc., any of the other additional variables. Okay, so therefore now you have a coupon rate which is a combination of base rate plus variable rate, base rate plus variable rate, and therefore it is called as flexible coupon rate bonds, which we are going to see in the next slide. So you could see here floating coupon rate bonds. So floating is nothing but simple. Floating is nothing but you are having base rate plus variable rate. Okay, so either 4%, 5%, one base rate you will be having fixed. Okay, plus it may be repo rate. Okay, it may be LIBOR, it may be any of the rates. Okay, which are variable. That means here you could say that the rate apart from base rate, overall coupon rate is there that will fluctuate according to the market. Okay, that will fluctuate according to the market. Therefore, these are called as floating coupon rate bonds. Floating in the sense their value keeps on changing according to the market. Okay. Rest other thing which we can talk about is about zero coupon bonds. Now always remember, we saw the picture of the bond, right? What is written? Face value is written, that is what is the amount which has been written, and coupon rate is written, right? But there are certain bonds where no coupon rate is mentioned on such agreements or bonds. Now why such coupon? If coupon rate is only not there, that means what? I am giving you the bond, but I am not giving any interest to you. Then why will anybody buy such type of bonds? So I will tell you why. These bonds are having zero interest, and therefore there is no coupon rate mentioned on such bonds. But people buy it because suppose if a bond is for 100 rupees, then there in such zero interest or no coupon bonds or zero coupon bonds, you get the face value of the bond at a discounted rate. You get it at the discounted rate. So therefore, after the maturity period, you will get the money which would be of face value, and therefore overall that whatever the face value, which the total amount after maturity principal whatever you will get, that will again will be the value of the coupon rate only. Okay, so what it means is that they don't give you interest, but rather they will give you principal after the maturity, but you get a extra discount when you are buying the bond, and that is why most of the people buy it. Okay, now let's talk about next some type of bonds. So the next type is cumulative coupon rate bonds, where you could see that these bonds are issued with a coupon rate, but coupon payment is done at the time of redemption. That means what? Simple. Suppose you took a bond, okay, for 5% or 6% for 3 years. So here what is done is that rather than giving interest to you every year, the interest is calculated and cumulatively is given to you after the maturity period, that is after 3 years. Cumulatively you would be given the coupon rate payment along with the principal, and therefore you get a complete coupon payment as well as principal after the redemption, that is after the maturity period. Then comes inflation index bond. It is nothing but whatever coupon rate is there, that has a base rate as well as whatever coupon rate is there, that is adjusted according to the inflation which is going on right now in the market. So therefore these are adjusted according to the inflation rate. Therefore whatever the inflation value is there, if inflation is high, okay, so therefore that has no net effect on the value of such type of inflation indexed bonds. Okay, so then comes the next type of bonds, that is sovereign gold bonds. So it's nothing but you can even call it a paper gold. As you all know, many of the people, maybe particularly in India, they have a habit of buying the gold. हमें सोना लेने की बहुत ज़्यादा आदत होती है. But what government of India as well as the Reserve Bank says that rather than buying gold, what you have an option now that you can buy paper gold. That means it would be a bond only, and here the face value would be nothing but the value of the gold which you go and buy in the market. The same value would be written on this bond. So here what you do is that it's nothing but here the people can buy the gold in form of paper or maybe in form of bond. Okay, they can again resell it if they want to in the secondary market. So this is what the sovereign gold bond did. Apart from that, there are other types also, green bonds and all. You can search it on the internet, but main things such as bond yield, what is bond, okay, redeemable, irredeemable bonds, all we have discussed in this important session. Okay, now bond yield definition, as you all know, majorly you can understand bond yield, it is nothing but annual rate of return on the bond. And overall I have already discussed what is the formula. It is nothing but coupon rate upon price. Coupon rate upon price. So this is your bond yield. So it is nothing but return. Return a person is getting. If the price is high, return is less. If the price is low, the return is high. Okay. So this is your bond yield. Now our topic for the bond has been finished. Okay. So the next topic is purple economy. As you all know that, okay, purple economy, if I talk about, before starting this discussion, there are certain things which we should be knowing first. Okay, so in the year of 2017 or 18, our economic survey had a theme of pink color. and this was because of the women, contribution of women or feminism. Okay, so similarly now you could say purple economy has been also into the news. What is this purple economy? We will try to understand about it. It is same related to the pink theme of our economic survey. We will try to understand why. Okay, now the most important thing about purple economy is that recently purple economy is into the news. What does purple economy means? It's nothing but there are certain sectors in the economy which are considered in our purple economy. Okay, but purple economy overall, if you try to understand, it is nothing but which promotes disability inclusion and job opportunities on large scale. And more importantly, if you try to understand what purple economy is, it is nothing but it has obtained the color from the name which has been adopted by various feminist movements. Okay, so generally if anybody asks you what is purple economy, though we all know that in economy always the contribution of women, okay, has been considered, and therefore 2017-18 the pink theme in economic survey was nothing but women's contribution in the overall Indian economy, GDP, etc., and in different sectors of the economy also. Now the purple economy comes into the picture where women contribution as well as feministic movements, where various works done in the different sectors of the women, different sectors of the economy, where those women are not considered, where they are paid, or maybe when whatever work they are doing, those are not monetized. Such sectors are considered as a part of economy. That particular section would be of the economy would be called as purple economy. So the origin comes from feministic movements. Okay, it represents a new vision of economics that recognizes importance of care work, empowerment and autonomy of women. Now remember this thing, I will ask you certain questions which are related to purple economy. Do you actually think that whatever household chores your mother is doing, okay, so whatever work she is doing in kitchen, is she getting paid for it? जो भी घर में बर्तन साफ करना हो या फिर किचन में खाना बनाना हो, उसके लिए क्या आपकी मम्मी या फिर कोई भी रिलेटिव्स आपके जो भी फीमेल्स हो, वो जब काम कर रहे हैं क्या उनको पेमेंट मिलता है? एंड इज इट कंसिडर्ड इन आवर जीडीपी? It is a UPSC question also. Is care economy in the sense what? Making food, बच्चे का ख्याल रखना, old age people जो हमारे parents है उनका ख्याल रखना, उसके लिए कोई भी remuneration नहीं मिलती है women को. So all these things, these activities, there are certain activities done by women. These are not considered, these are not monetized, these are not considered as an essential part of economy, and therefore neither the part of GDP. And that is why now a branch of economy is also considering these feministic movements and then saying that care work in the sense taking the care of child, okay, motherly care, whatever household chores are there, other than that empowerment and autonomy of women, all, even the household management, all these things could be termed as care economy. And this care economy, when it is considered in economy, that is called as purple economy. It consists of care and support services, oftenly which are related to healthcare, childcare, elderly care and other areas aimed for improving people's well-being. It encompasses both paid as well as unpaid care work. Paid in the sense, suppose if you are having a maid at the home, आपके अगर घर पर कोई भी एक ऐसी वुमेन है जो काम कर रही है, आपके लिए टिफिन बना रही है, आपका घर साफ कर रही है, then that woman who is called as maid, she is paid for it, right? आप जो भी उनकी फी है उनको पे करते हो. पर वही काम अगर कोई भी अदर फीमेल करती है आपके घर में, maybe your mother, your wife, your sister, they are not paid for it. So both such activities are the important aspects of the social and economical development of a country and important aspect of your economy also, GDP as well as national income. And therefore this purple economy, care economy is nothing but this perspective only to consider. What is the aim? Let's try to understand. First is organized system and sustainability of caring labor. Okay, caring labor in the sense those people are doing this caring, are in caring sector or doing whatever caring activities are there which we discussed right now, all those people. Then addressing the inequalities which are disproportionately in the women's sector, okay, for example women's unpaid and underpaid labor, Okay, so for example, you would have seen many of the sports players who are women, they are saying that we are not paid similar to male athletes. So purple economy also talks about this particular dimension. So contributing sustainable development by promoting cultural potential, contributing richer and more diverse cultural environment, and also including other sectors like digital, tourism, luxury goods and housing inside the overall economy. Social economy is nothing but considering social footprint. Green economy is nothing but considering ecological footprint, whereas purple economy is nothing but considering cultural footprint as feminism, or this is related to women, gender. Therefore, this particular topic considers, purple economy considers cultural footprint. Okay, then the other topic which we are going to talk about is the last topic, that is India is expected to become third largest economy by the year of 2030. So third largest economy by the year of 2030. Okay, so India is currently fifth largest, right? And it is on a track that it can even surpass Japan and become the third largest global economy till 2030, and this has projected its GDP, which is increasing from 3.5 trillion in 2022 to 7.3 trillion by 2030. Okay, and this, who has given this report? S&P Global Market Intelligence. So this was the basically news. It was a factual news. So overall, if you see, after experiencing 2 years of rapid economic growth in 2021 and 2022, India is showing also strong growth in 2023 calendar also, and therefore, if same way India keeps a track on the same projectile, then in 2030 definitely 7.3 trillion economy India can become. Overall, you could see India now will surpass 5 trillion economy by the mark of financial year 2028. Okay, and therefore by 2030 it can become third largest economy. Some additional information, if we talk about, rapid expansion will position India as the second largest economy in Asia Pacific region. Apart from that, India is poised to growth in such a manner due to favorable long-term growth prospects. And last thing is the middle class coupled with rapidly growing domestic consumer market and industrial sector. These are the three important keys which makes India an appealing investment destination. So middle class in the sense working class. Okay, so the demographic dividend which we talk about, coupled with rapidly growing domestic consumer market. As you all know, internationally Indian market is very, like Indian markets, the consumption also as well as overall, because of the high consumption and demand, production is also same, and this always acts as a combustion for our overall Indian economy. And industrial sector also, growing industrial sector. These are the three important reasons why we are growing in that trajectory. Then rapid expansion which is driven by the robust domestic demand in 2023 and 2024. And apart from that, foreign direct investment is also increasing in India in last decade, if we see. Okay, so India's robust FDI inflows have been observed in this last decade. Okay, in spite of pandemic, we have seen that now FDIs are also increasing. So overall, this was the factual news which was related. Okay, so overall we end our session here, and all your PDFs, as you know, whatever the financial current affairs PDFs are there, those would be uploaded at this Telegram channel, Senpai for Aspirants, as well as on our Oliveboard regulatory Telegram channel also. On both the channels, the 2 classes financial current affairs will make the playlist also, and we'll upload the whatever PPTs and PDFs also. Okay, so thank you very much. See you next time.